Adventures of Florida, man. I'm getting ready to go on an adventure, and I just wanted to show you some of my gear that I carry with me for camping. None of this is an endorsement. I haven't been paid by any of these companies. This is just equipment that I use. I've found some of it at Walmart. I've found some of it at Amazon. Some of it I found on my own. Some I've gotten suggestions from other people. But we'll go ahead and get started. First, I got my sleeping bag. In Florida, because of the heat, don't really need a sleeping bag. Sometimes in the dry season, might need a sleeping bag in the winter sometimes, but usually it's warm enough that you really don't need it. But there are some nights when it can get down to 50s, 60s, and the sleeping bag is appropriate. But I like it just for some padding, and I like to usually cover up with a blanket or something anyways. So it's something I always bring with me. So this is my main book bag that I have. I got it at Walmart. This bag has latches that will expand. Sometimes I put my sleeping bag or my tent out here. I really need to get a bigger bag. I've got an upcoming trip that's gonna be hiking and camping. So I really wanna just carry one book bag. Right now, this is the main one. And then I've got another one that I bring with me. So it's a lot to carry, but I'm working on getting a different book bag. I always try to use different gear, whatever might help me the most. But let's go ahead and explore and see what's in this bag. Oh, and then something that I don't want to forget, my trusty hat. I try to wear it everywhere. As you can see, the sun's coming straight down on me. It gets hot. But what's really nice about this bag is it's got a drawstring top. So you can fit a lot of stuff in there. I usually just kind of stuff it full and then pull the drawstring shut. The first thing that I've got in here is my tent. This is just a one-person tent, but I like it because it's really compact. I can usually get the tent and everything fit in here. Like the stakes and the poles, I can get it all fit in here, and it fits in the book bag, or I attach it on the outside of the book bag. But it's just a one-person Walmart tent. I like it though. It's good for stealth camping and good just for solo camps. I've shown this on my camping video before. These are just my stakes. Sometimes I stake down the tent, but I don't always stake it down. If I know that we're gonna get rain, I definitely stake it down. Or if I know it's gonna get windy, I stake it down. But a lot of times just the weight of stuff in the tent will keep it down. But it's kind of nice sometimes. It just expands room and gives more room in the tent. I like to bring my stuff in with me. I don't want bugs or wildlife to get to my stuff while I'm in my tent. This is the other part of my tent setup that I usually bring with me. It's a Rainfly. The material is pretty much just like this case. It's got like a, I don't really want to pull it all out, but it's got like this backing on it, and that definitely helps block some of the sun. I haven't had to camp in the rain yet, but this is really nice. I can mount it many different ways. I have guy lines that I use. I have stakes that I use with it. Depending on what kind of weather I'm expecting is how I set this Rainfly up. I might just set it up for shade if I think that it's not gonna rain. But if I know it's gonna rain, I definitely cover the tent so I don't get rained on, because here in Florida, we really don't get rain sprinkles. We get rain downpours, and it'll get you soaked in about 10 seconds. This is just some paracord. I got this pretty cheap at Walmart. I got a lot of it. This is just a portion of it. I usually tie this from one tree to another, and I put the Rainfly over it, so that way it kind of gets like an A-frame, and this supports it in the middle. If you notice a trend, everything is in some type of like drawstring bag. I'm really good at losing stuff. So if I have everything in kind of a drawstring bag, it helps me keep everything together. And like, this is my fire maple camp stove. Everything for the stove is inside of the pot. This is an attachment where I can actually do like a skillet or a regular pot if I want to use it on the camp stove. And then this is the base that attaches to the gas tank. And if I wanted to use the attachment for like skillets, then I would put that on the top there. And these fold out. So that way it's big enough to support the pot or the skillet. And then of course it's got a fuel control built into it. And it's got an igniter button. Usually I don't bring like a skillet or a pot. And this is for the gas tank. It just sits in these little holders so that way it stays flat and it won't fall. But this pot, I usually just use this pot to cook with. I usually only cook with one person. That way I don't have to bring a skillet or a pot. It just takes up too much room. But everything just fits back in there. If I've got a smaller gas tank, it's supposed to all fit in the pot. But my bigger gas tank is just too much. The lid wouldn't close. And then of course you just fold this over here and it's got a little metal kind of cable to hold that all shut in there. And then it all goes back into the bag. And then it just all gets drawstringed back in there. That's everything for this book bag. Now I'm gonna go on to my smaller book bag. This is kind of my secondary book bag. This is a book bag that I got on Amazon. I didn't pay too much for it. Maybe $20, $25. Some compartments are waterproof. Like this pocket is waterproof. Another important thing, the bug spray. This is probably the best bug spray that I've found for Florida wild. It's the Repel brand insect repellent. It's Sportsman Max formula, 40% Deet. I've had like the Coleman brand, I think it was like 90% Deet. But it's easy to sweat all of that off. When there's more Deet, it doesn't stay applied as long with the sweat and just all the conditions. But I found that the 40% Deet, it's just that right level where it does repel the sweat, or like if I'm gonna get wet, it still stays somewhat applied. And it's pretty long lasting. I would say it goes for maybe 3 to 4 hours. I like to spray myself with it. I'll spray the tent with it, but it's a must here in Florida because there are lots of mosquitoes. If you're around water, there's gonna be more mosquitoes. Making outdoor content, I really don't have to have too much. Most of it is my camping gear, but I do carry some camera gear with me. I have different mounts. I really like to use the head mount a lot. That's good for kayaking. It's just hands-free, it's great. But the bad thing about Florida is the camera gets really hot up there on my head because that's one of my primary action cameras. A GoPro Hero 9 Black. It does 4K video. You can do, I believe, 60 frames per second, but I usually do 30 frames per second in 4K. But I have a lot of different mounts that I use with it. The other one that I like to use kayaking or even hiking is my chest mount. But I really like the chest mount, kayaking and hiking. It's another hands-free way that I can use my action camera, my GoPro, and still be able to do things and record. The camera just mounts on the chest, and then it has these straps that go over my shoulders and around my back. I really like it in the summer because it's not as hot to wear and the camera doesn't overheat. And then one of my favorite things that I like to use while hiking is a selfie stick. Not only is it great for like out front video, but of course it's good for if I want to like get the scenery behind me. But the GoPro Hero 9 is still a really popular camera, and it's still really technologically advanced for being an older GoPro. I think they're on the 13 now, the Hero 13. But a lot of people are still using the 9. I'll get the 13, I'll upgrade to the 13 eventually, but it'll probably be either when this camera is outdated or it's not working anymore. I'm not gonna go out of my way to replace it. This little case that I use, it came with my GoPro when I ordered it. But I also have another camera that I use. So my camera that I like to use on the camping and hiking trips and different, like if I go to an event such as that second annual Gator Festival, it's this DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Since I film my own content and edit and do everything else myself, it makes it easy to provide videos that follow when I move. Oop, I tripped. This camera right here, this is my other camera. It's really good at autofocus. It has different things that you can set it up to where it will track my face. And that's how I can like solo record whenever I'm camping and walk around and still record, and it looks like somebody's recording me. It also has other different tracking features, like being able to track objects. So that way, if you are presenting an object, if I wanted it to track the camping stove while I was recording the camping stove, I could have it select that, and wherever I move the camping stove in the frame, it will move the camera. It's got a gimbal on it for stabilization, but also that is what allows it to be able to follow me around. We're getting down to the last several items. Another item that I like to use is my Garmin GPS Map 67i. Not only is it great for offline maps when I'm not connected to the internet, but it has a satellite communicator built into it. It's powered on the Iridium satellite network. It can send messages and pictures and different things like that. You can do it monthly, where it's a contract and it kind of goes every month, or you can just do it month by month. There is, I believe, an activation fee, a one-time activation fee, but you can do that month-to-month basis or do it on a kind of on-demand basis. I usually do just kind of on-demand basis. I've got a really big hiking and camping trip coming up, and I'm gonna activate it for that because it's going to be kind of dangerous conditions. So I wanna make sure that if I need to get help, I can, because I don't know if where I'm going is going to have good cell phone reception. Another item that I bring with me is this cooler. Sometimes I bring food that may spoil if it gets too hot. So I put food in here. I put bottles of water in here. I like to have cold water. It's important to stay hydrated in Florida. But it can be worn as a backpack too. So it's great for hiking and carrying water and different things that need to stay cool. But this is not something that I bought. It's something that my wife got for free when she was working at an employer, and she just wanted it as a prize. But we've gotten a lot of use out of it for beach trips. I've gotten a lot of use out of it for hiking and camping trips too. Another important item that I bring with me is my cot. If you watch some of my other camping videos, you can see it's good for one person. The material of the cot is just like the material of the bag. It's very strong, holds me just fine, and I'm around 140 to 160. But I've seen people heavier than me, I believe like 220. I've seen them use it before. But I don't really want to take everything out of the bag. These are the legs that go under it. There's 5 sets of legs, and they just stay Velcroed together until you need it. And then they all just pop in. And the 2 runner bars that are on the left and right of the cot, they go in these sides, and then the bottom is the support. So there's 5 of these through the length of the cot. And I got that on Amazon for like $65. I thought it was a fair deal. I like it. It's comfortable. My only complaint, and it's not really necessarily a complaint of this specific cot, it's more of just a complaint about cots in general. I toss and turn a lot while I'm sleeping, and the cot doesn't give me a lot of room to toss and turn. But as you can see, it's all contained in this bag. It's much easier than carrying around an air mattress. Sometimes I bring air mattresses with me. You can see that I'm not very good at putting this up while I'm talking on camera. But I don't really like to bring air mattresses with me unless I'm doing like traditional camping, because the air mattresses are heavy. They take up a lot of room. I don't want a backpack with an air mattress. My last final item, it's not really a camping item, but it's useful in camping situations. This is a Gulu jumper pack. It can jump up to a 12-liter gas engine or a 10-liter diesel engine. And I've gotten a lot of jumps out of it on one charge. At least 8 or more. But it's all in this contained box. It's just got a little power display on it that shows the battery power. If I had something connected to it, it would show the wattage that it's using. I would charge it through this USB-C port, and you can have up to a 100-watt charger on here, and it charges, I think, in like 30 minutes. But I usually use like a 65-watt charger, and it will show on the screen that it's getting 65 to 68 watts sometimes when it's charging. And you saw the USB ports on it. It's got the regular USB, it's got USB-C. It has the connector for the 12-volt battery. If I can get this out of the bag. This is the jumper cables that it has. That plugs in, like so. And I would just jump the vehicle. But I really like it for this feature. I've got just a cheap 400-watt power inverter. It plugs into a cigarette adapter. It's got USB ports. It's got the 110 outlets on it. But if I use the right attachment, I can plug this 12-volt cigarette adapter into the power bank, like so. Just plugs in there. And then that's how I use this power inverter with this jumper pack. So things that don't use too much electric, it'll do up to 150-watt max. So it wouldn't power 400 watts completely like this power inverter would. But like I've got a DeWalt battery pack that I charge, and that charger connects up to this. And it will charge the DeWalt battery just as quick using this jumper pack and the inverter as it would plugging into the wall in my house. So it's a really awesome feature. I think that it'll work with the e-bike charger. I've not tried that yet. But this Gulu box, I got it for like $85. I thought it was a really good price. And it only used up, when I charged the DeWalt battery, it only used 10% of the Gulu battery. So it's really good on power too. So if I was gonna hook up the Gulu and the inverter and the DeWalt battery charger, this is how it would happen. It's a pretty easy setup. It's a little heavy, but I can always find a way to pack something if I need it. But the reason why I might bring the DeWalt charger is because I bring a camping fan with me. Summer camping is really hot in Florida. Sometimes it's really unbearable. I had one camping fail this summer where the real feel was over 100 degrees and I was just pouring out sweat. But the main fail of that one was because it started pouring down raining. But still, it was unbearable. I overheated myself. I got sick as I was leaving the campsite. So the fan is a must a lot of times. But we're going into dry season and it's not as hot. Our dry season starts to come around November, and then we go back into rainy season around April, May. So I'll be able to get a lot more camping done now that it's not raining. It's like I can camp in the rain when I have the right supplies, but it's just not enjoyable. I just wanted to share some of the items that I bring with me. Sometimes I bring this guy with me. I don't know if he's showing in the video right now. He's the one that was crying. But he goes camping with me sometimes, but usually just traditional camping. He doesn't camp the best. He doesn't like the noises at night. I'm okay with noises. Sometimes they make me a little paranoid, like something might happen, but I think that's how he kind of looks at it too. He hears noises and he wants to act on it. So when you're in the tent and there might be a raccoon outside pawing at the side of the tent, the dog starts going crazy. But I hope you all enjoyed seeing some of the gear that I use. I don't know what adventure I'm doing next. You'll just have to tune in and see where I'm going next. But you can always subscribe to the channel, and that way you find out about the newest videos when they drop. Be sure to like the video. Leave a comment. What gear of mine that I showed would you maybe like to learn more about? I can do a video on it if you'd like. Or what gear am I not using that you think would be really good for me to use? I don't plug this very often, but I do have a buy me a coffee. And if anybody ever wants to contribute to any of my camping supplies, feel free. The donation, it doesn't cost anything to make a donation if you want to. But more adventures come along for the next trip. Hope y'all enjoyed. See you on the next adventure. Adventures of Florida Man.